Dear students of class 5A, in my GK class, today I am going to discuss you the previous one lesson number 14. This lesson is very important for you because there are so many things unknown to you, you have to learn. Because the basic concept of this lesson is not mentioned in your book. That's why, for your better understanding, I am going to discuss the basic concept of these lessons. Now, first question, what is the United Nations? What is the UNO, or what is the definition of UNO? The full form of UNO is the United Nations Organization. Now, what is it? The United Nations Organization is an international political organizations of the countries of the world. Now, question is, why was it established? The United Nations Organization was established in order to establish international understanding, peaceful cooperation, and good friendship among the countries of Asia, Europe, and Africa. So, in order to establish world peace, this international organization, the UNO, was established. Besides, there are certain reasons behind it. Why was the United Nations Organization established? There are certain reasons behind it. What were the reasons? The fear of the Third World War. When the League of Nations was established, the world leaders had great fear for the Second World War, but still it was taken place. And when the United Nations Organization was established, the world leaders had great fear of the Third World War. The peace treaties, signed after the First World War showed the seeds of bitterness and conflict leading to the Second World War. And all the countries of Asia, Europe, and Africa, they feared that the Second World War could be avoided. The Second World War could be the cause of a Third World War, which might lead to the end of the world. That's why, in great fear of the Third World War, the United Nations Organization was established. Apart from this, now question is, why was it established? Another reason behind it is that, my dear students, after a long, bitter experience of the two world wars, the First World War and the Second World War, the world leaders came to a conclusion that there should be one political organization established in order to remove all kinds of doubts among themselves, in order to establish permanent solution, permanent peace throughout the world. That's why one political organization should be formed that might be more powerful than the League of Nations. So, in order to fulfill their aims, a number of conferences was held, and they held many discussions, many conferences to discuss the nature of such an war which once took place, and for two times, which were taken place for two times during the first two times, and their efforts finally took shape at San Francisco in the year 1945 in the formation of the United Nations Organizations. So this is the brief history of the formation of the United Nations Organization, my dear students. The next point, who took initiative in the formation of the UNO? Who took initiative in the formation of the UNO? The world leaders who took initiative in the formation of the UNO were America, Russia, France, Britain. These were the countries of the world who took initiative, but out of them, three most important countries and powerful countries of the world played a vital role in establishing such a political organization. These countries were France, these countries were England, Britain and Russia. Not France, England, Britain and Russia. The President of America was the time when during the time when the United Nations organization was established. Who was the President of America? The President of America was Roosevelt. Roosevelt was the President of America. And who was the Prime Minister of England? Winston Churchill was the Prime Minister of England. And who is the President of Soviet, President of Russia? It was Joseph Stalin, who was the head of Russia. So both the three powerful states, powerful countries of the world, they discussed with each other and formed a new political organization, the United Nations. Although the preparation was done when the Second World War was going on, that time the preparation was done. But at the end of the Second World War, finally it took shape and it was formed. Next one, role of the UNO. Role of the UNO. What role had the UNO played, or what role had the UNO being playing? The role of the UNO is very important in establishing law, in establishing peaceful atmosphere in the country. It is decided that through the process of bilateral talking and through the process of negotiation under the UNO, the world leader would solve international problems. That's why the UNO was formed. UNO was established. Apart from this, the UNO's main program is to remove not only the UNO was established to remove doubts, to remove disbelief, and to remove all kinds of misunderstandings. But at the same time, it was also established in order to provide lots of facilities to the war-affected people who suffered and whose family members suffered during the Second World War, in order to provide them with education facilities like education, facilities like employment, facilities like healthcare. So in each and every step, in every sphere of life, the UNO has been playing an important role since the year that political organization was established. Now the question is, another point that is also part of my discussion. I am going to discuss it. What is about it? The reason how many member states are there in the UNO? How many member states are there in the UNO? There are 51 member countries, 51 member states. How many countries were there when it was founded in the UNO? That is my question. How many countries were there when the UNO was founded? When the UNO was founded, there were 51 countries as the members of the UNO. And now next point, is our country India a member of the UNO? Our country India obviously a member of the UNO. And how many official languages are there in the UNO? In UNO, how many official languages does the United Nations have? there are 6 official languages the UNO has introduced for the members. There are 6 languages. These 6 languages are Arabic, Chinese, English, French, Russian, and Spanish. These are the 6 languages, are the languages of the UNO, official languages of the UNO. Now the United Nations has its own postal system also. In order to communicate the message to the world leaders regarding any issue, regarding any burning question, the United Nations has introduced its own postal system. And another point that is very important, the UNO has its many many organs. The UNO has many organs. A number of organs have been formed in order to assist the work of the UNO, and each and every organ has its own program, and they are supposed to shoulder their own program, their own tasks, their own responsibilities and assignments. And one of the organs of the UNO is UNICEF. UNICEF, what is the full form of UNICEF? United Nations International Children's Emergency Fund. UNICEF, the United Nations International Children's Emergency Fund. This is the full form of UNICEF. Now, why is the UNICEF established or formed? The UNICEF was established in order to provide health facilities to the children who affected at the end of the Second World War, in order to provide them facilities, in order to provide them monetary facilities, in order to provide them health facilities, education facilities, in order to provide them various types of facilities. An emergency fund was formed for spending money from there. And this emergency fund was formed in order to allow this organ of the United Nations to put forward its programs and to realize its dreams and aims. That's why the UNICEF was established. The full form of the UNICEF is United Nations International Children's Emergency Fund. And another organ of the United Nations is UNEP. Now, what is the full form of UNEP? The full form of UNEP is United Nations Environment Program. United Nations Environment Program. At the end of the Second World War, the environment of our country was polluted due to huge losses of lives, huge damages of properties. The world leaders, when the UNO was formed, a number of organs also were formed with the UNO, and the United Nations Charter also allowed to fulfill the aims and objectives of such organs of the UNO, and the rights and obligations of each number of states also were framed, according to which the United Nations organization, along with its organs, have been working since it was established in the year 1945. And besides, now question is, why is the UNEP was the UNEP formed? The full form of UNEP is United Nations Environment Program. Now, why was it formed? It was formed in order to make the environment free of pollution, in order to make the environment peaceful, in order to make the environment all kinds of free of dust particles. Besides, the world leader gave importance to these organs of the United Nations. In a sense, this organ would not only remove air pollution, but also it would remove political pollution of all, or pollution of all kinds from the nature, from the air, and from the atmosphere of different countries of Asia, Europe, and Africa. And afterwards, the United Nations organization was afterwards the programs whatever was made by the United Nations organization, it decided to distribute all of its duties and responsibilities and liabilities to each and every organ of it, according to which the organs of the United Nations have been working efficiently, have been working very effectively for the welfare of the country, for the welfare of the people. Up to this, my dear students. Thank you.